So, for a lot of people, this is actually a pretty fearful time. This is a really kind of scary time economically, financially. People don't actually know what's going on. A lot of people are actually dealing with financial difficulties because they don't know what's actually available to them. And here I want to tell you how, actually, despite people seeming to lose money, despite there seeming to be this kind of fear that's in the atmosphere, how you can be the exception. In general, I've worked, within marketing and sales, kind of just in business in general for the past 3 years. And I've observed a lot of trends even before I started that you can kind of sort of tell and look at where the market is going. And by the market, I mean the sort of digital product and the digital sort of info product and entrepreneurship game. So that's not just programs, that's just the general education industry, right? Now, why am I telling you this? There's a quote from Warren Buffett, and it says, be fearful when others are greedy, and be greedy when others are fearful. Now, we've been in a time where everybody has been greedy. Let's be honest, you saw the boom of marketing agencies, you saw the boom of course selling. Now everyone seems to be throwing around the course. And now we've gotten to a place where there are a lot of people that are actually sort of, I call it course fatigue. They just see someone else that's got a course and they're like, another course seller. In fact, every time they see someone posting on Instagram, they say, "Oh, where's your course, bro? Where's your course? Just let me know. Just send it below." And for a lot of people that may want to actually sell their knowledge and sell their gift, that actually may sound like a turn off. And so we've gotten from this time where everybody was greedy to now this time where we actually have a lot of fearful people. We have a lot of people that are like, oh, like, I want to start a marketing agency, but it's just it looks saturated. Or I can make this course based on this, but it looks saturated based off of that. So now things have gone from greedy to fearful. And if you're like that and you've wanted to start a business, but you've been afraid of risk, or maybe you already have a business and you're afraid of charging more because you think, oh, who'd want to pay that much? This is for you, right? So let's go back to that quote by Warren Buffett. Be greedy when others are fearful, and or be fearful when others are greedy. What does that mean? If you're in an industry and everyone is actually charging high, if people are actually trying to take out most of the market, if there's people flooding in every day, especially if it's something that, one of those widespread business models like how SMMA, social media marketing agencies, it just blew up, like I think 2 years ago. Then what it can do, what you need to do in that market, because other people are being greedy, is to be fearful. What does it mean to be fearful? It means to be wary. Why are people coming into this market? Oh, maybe the low startup cost, maybe this. Okay. So even despite the saturation, if you really watch the nuances, you can identify the gap. Because let's be honest, you're not the only person to start the business that you have or wants to start the business that you have, but there are still people that are successful and stayed successful. And I'm telling you, it's because they stay fearful. Every business that you know that has stayed in business for more than 5 to 20 years is because they're fearful. And it's because they're fearful that they adjust. When you're fearful, you're watching, you're observing all the time. And when you're not fearful, you get complacent, you don't observe, you get left behind. Right? So if you're someone, so that's for the greed market. Now, if you're in terms of how do you know when other people are fearful? Well, other people are fearful based on how many people are going in the market and the doubt about a market. A lot of people are calling AI immature. Now, what do I mean? A lot of people are looking at AI and looking at it the same way we looked at NFTs and saying, oh, NFTs was a good idea, but it was ahead of its time. Some people are saying the same thing about AI. And the people who are saying that are completely ignoring the people who are printing off behalf of this. And because of that, it's now the perfect time to enter that industry. Does that make sense? So if you have a business and in your business is a lot of people talking about how you can't make it, it's fresh meat. It's fresh meat because it means that it's a market where people are fearful. So you have all the right to be greedy. It means that you can go in and take up the market share. You can go in and even fail, right? And because you're the first to fail, you're the first to learn. And because you're the first to learn, you'll be the first one to reap the profits. So what I'm trying to say to you is that if you're someone that is either you've been in business, you have a business, maybe you started multiple businesses over time, and you've got this, you're wondering where next to pivot. Go, you can either be fearful in the market where people are already be greedy. And that takes a lot more work than the other option. Because if you're fearful in the market where people are greedy, you're always going to be competing. And it's going to get to a point where this theory called perfect competition happens, where you start competing based on price. And if you're competing based on price in your business, you're losing completely. Because if there's only a certain price you can get lower to, but maybe your competitor can go lower. And then you just get to this miserable game where you keep lowering your prices and your margins are just boom. Your margins are just gone. So what do you want to be? You want to be in the market where other people are fearful. Now, what's the downside there? Well, the downside really is that if you go into a market where other people are fearful, you're going to be finding out why they're fearful. It might be fearful because there's a startup cost. It might be fearful because you don't know what the customer wants. You don't know what the customer needs. They might be fearful because you just don't know anything about what's going to happen in the next few years with that market. But I'll tell you what, you have one upside that is virtually invaluable if you play it correctly and with fast movers advantage. If you have fast movers advantage and you keep that advantage by failing fast, by implementing quickly, the money is yours. Now, why do I say that? It's because whilst they are still getting started, you've already failed 5 times and you've already made the 5 improvements that they're going to take either the same amount of time as you or longer to make. And because of that, the quicker you make those improvements, the quicker you're making money. The quicker you're making money, the quicker you scale. So this time we're in right now, with the fear mongering in the economy, the way people are afraid of both starting businesses and also trusting businesses, means that there is fertile ground for you to come in and close that gap. All you need to do is find out where people are fearful. Find out the markets that people are afraid of going in and go in those markets. And once you go in those markets, do everything you can to implement and grow as fast as possible. And by grow, what I mean is really just test things. The AI market is perfect for this. The AI market is perfect for this because when you start, and especially in a market like AI, it's a complete wild card. It can go from doing things like building the back-end automations for, these old boomer businesses. Cannot believe I just said boomer business out loud. But yeah, old boomer businesses, to even things such as, building your own AI app, building GPT, building a site, having an application, building an application, building whatever it takes. I mean, really, AI is the blank canvas. But the AI revolution is actually where people are afraid because we don't understand what it is. And to be the first mover, you don't need to understand it. You just need to try it. And then you just improve. You work on what didn't work. And the more you keep doing that, the better you get. All the most successful people I know are people who have made hundreds of mistakes. They just made it in less time than you, so they learn faster. That's really it. Make the mistakes as soon as possible. But my point is, is that it's time for you to be greedy. It's not time to be fearful right now. It seems that way because other people are fearful. This seems like the time that everyone wants to trust their job and trust their 9 to 5, and everyone knows they need a business, but they're too scared because they don't know what's going on. Trump tariffs, China, um, India, Pakistan, all of this. People are afraid, and that's why it's the perfect time for you. I mean, look at COVID. When people were terrified, there were people that were making millions off of e-commerce by selling masks. Like, it's just, yeah. I just noticed I had my AirPod in my ear. Dear God. Sorry, guys. I'm used to like listening with like one ear, but that's my point, right? When you're greedy, when others are fearful, you make the profits. Just don't come to the illusion of being afraid. Start that business. Build your personal brand. Start marketing something. Start doing something. Start doing something that you can fail at so you can learn and be better. You can learn and rake in money. So you can learn and impact people. Start something. The greatest selfishness is keeping your gifts to the world. Anyway, guys, that's me. If you're interested, I have a video on how to actually use AI to 3x or 2x your revenue. I forgot how much it was, but how to use AI to basically multiply your revenue in a month and how I used it actually myself personally. That video will be in the link in the description or it'll come up right here. And I have also other videos on, some of the more philosophical topics like finding your purpose and, how to basically stop procrastination. But my goal really is to actually help you build the life that you'll be proud of. That's my dream. That's my dream. And that's what these videos are for. So appreciate you guys watching. Take a look at the next video here, like and subscribe. But most of all, just check out the other videos because I made them for you guys. Right? I made them for you guys. So yeah, check them out. Let me know what was your biggest takeaway. Let me know if you think I'm right or if you've been feeling this. And yeah, peace out, guys. Love.